Hey, everybody. So good to see you guys. I hope you are doing well. Thank y'all so much for coming in here. Let me go in and say hello to everybody. Hello, Miss Rocket Queen. Good to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Hello, Mermaid. Good to see you, honey. I hope you're feeling better and hope your kiddos and the family's doing better. Much love to you too, honey. Hello, Hindsight 2020. Good to see you, honey. I hope you're doing well. What's up, Ghost Devil? Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing good. Hello, Miss Sunshine. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're doing good. What's up, Sean? Brother, hope you're doing well. Thank you guys so much for being in here. All right. Which I know Turtle Island is going on right now, I think. So it's okay. The show must go on. And I know we'll have a lot of replays. So it's okay. It's all good. It's all good, guys. It's all good. I just appreciate you get the few people that are in here and the few people that are watching. I appreciate y'all being in here with me. Make sure y'all hit that like and share and subscribe if y'all haven't done so. Thank you guys so much for being in here, truly. Okay, tonight we're going to talk about something a little bit different. I come across some information and it says super full moon in August. So this is positivity, well-being, zodiac signs, astrology. I can't even talk. Astrology, I think that's what it's called. It says tonight we're going to be talking about what August super full moon means for your astrological sign. How does the super full moon affect you and your well-being and mental health during this time? Hashtag is super full moon astrology, well-being, zodiac signs, positivity, mental health awareness, beautiful, and August the 30th. Yes, August the 30th. So that's why I wanted to do this a little bit earlier to kind of give y'all a heads up because August the 30th is next week. So I don't know if this is everywhere. I just want to give you guys a heads up. Hello, Juju. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're doing well, sweetheart. All right. So let me pull up my info. I'm not going to make this a super massive long one. I'm going to try not to anyway. Just kind of go over the info. And because I know a lot of people watch Turtle Island, which is all good. You know, I don't judge, whatever. You watch whatever you want to. I just appreciate you guys being in here with me. Hello, Beachy. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're doing well. All right. And I don't have no banner or nothing like that. They dropped me down to a regular StreamYard right now. So I don't even have a background. But it'll be all good. It's all good, guys. All right. All right. So this is from wmagazine.com. And it says, what's August super full moon means for your astrological sign. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, I apologize. It says this was dated August 18th, 2023. So as soon as I come across it, I was like, ooh, that's interesting to talk about. And the fish is just, when you can just look at the fish, it's kind of relaxing. All right, guys. It says on August the 30th, a truly enhancing and potent event will occur, a super full moon. Hello, Digger Duck. Good to see you, love. I hope you're doing well, darling. A super full moon in Pisces. I'm hoping I'm saying these correctly, guys. It says the beauty of this occurrence lies in how it amplifies the typical experiences associated with a full moon. Super full moons, particularly in astrology and esoteric spirituality, represent an opportunity to release the past and let go of what's holding us back from embracing new opportunities and renewed clarity. What makes this full moon special is that it's occurring in the sign of Pisces, which happens to be the final sign of the zodiac. The Piscean, I hope I'm pronouncing these right, guys. Energy brings a deep, reflected, and mature vibe. With the added look of optimism of the super full moon, there is a clear understanding of what needs to be left behind in order to wholeheartedly embrace the future. Hello, Becca. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're doing well. This full moon also has a significant connection to karma, and it's right alongside Saturn, the Lord of Fate. This combo sets the stage for a sense of fated urgency, compelling us to take responsibility for our next steps, while Pisces, I hope that's how you pronounce it. Hello, White Angel. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're doing well. Pisces energy tends to flow freely and surrenders itself to the universe. Saturn's presence emphasizes the need for accountable action. When Saturn's in the mix, it's vital to be conscious of how our nostalgia, fears, and anxieties might hinder us from embracing opportunities we truly desire. This full moon prompts us to question whether we're settling in situations due to fear of something worse, and if that fear of the unknown is stopping us from embracing our authentic selves. Remember this: don't fear what could go wrong, fear what will happen if you never try. This full moon is deeply tied to releasing fear and anxiety to pave the way for healing. It's about recognizing our limited control and surrendering to the universe's flow. However, one thing we can control is striving to be the best versions of ourselves. That requires faith in our capability to navigate the unknown. Now let's devolve into a sign by sign breakdown. Make sure to consider your sun, moon, and rising signs as you explore this reading. And we're going to go over every zodiac or whatever it's called. Oh Lord, I can't even talk tonight. Yeah, smack that like button. Thanks, Ghost Devil. We're going to go over all these astrological signs or zodiac signs or whatever you want to call them. I call them different things, but y'all know what I mean. It says Aries. Hey, Aries, brace yourself for this full moon. It might throw a bit of a curveball your way. Why? Because it's popping up in the sector of your life that's all about subconscious spirituality and the divine. This realm is linked to mental well-being, spiritual connections, imagination, and healing. So you're in for a bit of introspection. I totally get it. You're the kind of sign that thrives on action, always eager to charge ahead and conquer the next challenge. But here's the kicker. This full moon wants you to take your foot off the gas and pause for a moment. It's urging you to dive inward and explore how you can establish a deeper connection with yourself. You might wonder how you can find that inner calm amid the daily hustle and bustle. Maybe it's through physical outlets like exercise or uncovering relaxation in a craft or hobby. This is your cue to prioritize rest and replenishing your energy. So, Aries, this full moon is calling for a different kind of action, the kind that's rooted in self-care and self-discovery. Embrace this pause as opportunity to unwind, recharge, and connect with your inner self. It's about finding your own unique path to stillness and peace. Ask yourself, what are ways I can integrate reflection into my life to let my mind, body, and spirit relax? If anybody is at Aries, if I'm saying that correctly. Taurus. Like I said, I have a hard time pronouncing these words, but hopefully I'm saying it correctly. Let me try to get this a little bit. I don't know how clear that is, but I'm trying, guys. I apologize. Taurus, as we approach a full moon, you might see some emotions bubbling up from the depth of your heart. These feelings are related to your interactions within your social circle. This lunar event carries the potential to help you ease any suspicions or worries about where you stand with people to whom you're connected. Full moons have a knack for revealing truths, and this one is no exception. It's like a cosmic flashlight shining on your relationships, exposing how you truly feel about your friends. You'll also gain insight into how their personal goals and philosophies align with yours. During this period, it's critical to let go of assumptions you might have about your social group. Instead, embrace a clear direction that allows everyone's truths to come to light. This can lead to a deeper understanding of your interconnected experiences. You might realize that certain individuals within your community are holding you back from fully stepping into your power. Excuse me, guys, and appreciating your journey. Use this cosmic energy to gain clarity and grow stronger, both within your social circle and on your personal path towards your dreams. Ask yourself, have I compromised too much or not enough of myself for the sake of others? And can I be more aware of where people's true intentions lie? Gemini. This full moon is like a spotlight beaming on your public image and how people perceive you. And yes, this links directly to your career. You might find yourself at a crossroads, feeling like you're in a place you'd rather not be. Now, what's really fascinating about this full moon is that it's the potential to tap into your intuitions. It's like a cosmic truth serum, revealing your genuine sentiments about your current endeavors and how the world reviews you. This is your cue to step back, assess your career path, and examine how you envision your future. It might even spark the urge to shed those limited beliefs that have been holding you back. This is your moment to initiate discussions about promotions, seek that raise you deserve, or even scout out fresh job opportunities. If your current career path doesn't align with your true essence and the mark you wish to leave on the world, it's time to consider a change. Release the need for external approval or success and focus on the confidence that comes from pursuing your own shining path. Gemini, this full moon is your cosmic cheerleader. Listen to your inner voice, reevaluate your career direction, and don't be afraid to let your brilliance shine through in ways that feel right for you. Ask yourself if the image people have of me aligned with the image I have of myself. Rocket Queen, are you arguing with Nightbot again? Don't throw your wrench at Nightbot. Nightbot, throw it back at you, Rocket Queen. Y'all gonna be throwing them back and forth in chats. Cancer. Get ready to loosen up and shed those fears that might be holding you back. I totally get it. Seeking safety is second nature for many Cancer folks. That's why stepping out of your comfort zone can feel like a challenge. This full moon lands in part of your lives that's all about spirituality, belief systems, personality philosophies, morals, and grand visions you have from your life's journey. And this is where the magic happens. It's essential to grant yourself permission to step beyond those comfy boundaries you've set. The crab must leave its beachside home to explore new things and bring back treasures. Embracing new experiences and venturing beyond your comfort zone might feel uncertain, even ambiguous, but that's where growth resides. Wisdom blooms from experiences, and this full moon is a splendid opportunity to realize that sometimes all you need is a change in perspective to get back on your aligned path. Ask yourself, what experiences are going to remind me that I still believe in and am aligned with what I'm pursuing? Hello, hippie grandma. Good to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, he is kind of pushy, or she, or they, or them, or whatever. He is kind of pushy, and you, Rocket Queen. Oh, Lord. Leo, I think that's in August, I believe. I'm not for sure. Says, hey, Leo, let's dive into this full moon's potential. It's a real emotional roller coaster that can shine a bright light on some deep aspects of your life. Why? Because it's illuminating energy around your shared experiences. We're talking intimacy, transformation, and all those things we inherit from people closest to us. One big realization might be the need to step up and offer better support to your loved ones. But it's a two-way street. You also need to ensure you're receiving the support, intimacy, and vulnerability that builds those strong, meaningful connections. You're fine, hippie grandma, honey. Good to see you back again, Sean or Shane. I always say your name wrong. I apologize. Boundaries come into play with this full moon. How can you establish healthy limits with those who are closest to you? This ensures you're not absorbing any negativity you'd rather not carry. Plus, creating these boundaries fosters a solid understanding between you and others regarding what you're comfortable with. It's a journey of letting go and embracing what lies beneath the surface. even if it's not all sunshine and rainbows. In a nutshell, this is about developing more profound, more vulnerable relationships by acknowledging and addressing what's hidden in the shadows. Ask yourself, what baggage do I carry that is mine, and what baggage was left for me by others that I took on the responsibility to carry? All right, Sean. Vertigo. So here we are with the full moon lighting up your partnerships, relationships, marriages, legal documents, contracts, and promises. This moment is all about evaluating the agreements you've made and whether they still hold true for you. It's not a blanket statement that all your connections and commitments need an overhaul, but it's prime time for the thorough inspection. Take a stroll through your friendships, both personal and professional, and assesses whether they're still aligning with your needs. It's not uncommon for relationships to change, shifting to no longer serve a positive purpose. This full moon might stir up emotions, pushing you to consider and releasing certain friendships and connections. The truth about how you and others experience these relationships could surface. It's a chance to enhance the way you connect with others, be it through heartfelt conversations with loved ones or revisiting professional contracts. What really matters is that you approach these situations with vulnerability and empathy. This is about acknowledging your needs and the needs of those around you. Ask yourself, do the relationships in my life make me feel as though I can show up stress free, or are there conversations to be navigated that will make me feel more at peace? Oh, you're a Vertigo, Sean. Libra. This full moon invites you to step into a nitty gritty of your daily life, your routines, your work, your health, all the things that often go unnoticed because they're just a part of the grind. Let's talk about the potential. This full moon has to shed light on those procrastination tendencies that can pop up with significant tasks or projects at work. It can also eliminate your true feelings about your job, your professional relationships, and the responsibilities you hold in that sphere. Now it's the time to recognize whether your day-to-day flow and rhythm in your current situation makes sense, or if they are counterproductive than productive. If it's the latter, take it as a signal to explore ways to let go of those counterproductive elements and introduce new positive experiences into your life. On another note, it's wise to steer clear of indulging in bad habits like excessive drinking, smoking, or overeating junk food. While it's okay to enjoy some comfort and soul-nourishing experiences, given the Piscean energy of this full moon, strive for balance. Speaking of which, take a moment to examine your health and physical well-being. Finding the equilibrium is critical. Ask yourself, in my wildest dreams, what would my day-to-day schedule and health look like? Does my life currently align with this? Scorpio. Scorpio, brace yourself for this upcoming full moon, which will cast its glow on the part of your life connected to your creativity, enjoyment, romance, and basically anything that involves your creative juices flowing. The spotlight's on, and it's all about what truly tickles your fancy, and ignites that warm, fuzzy feeling of happiness that comes from embracing your authentic self without worrying about others' opinions. Now your chance to step back and reflect on your hobbies. Which one brings a big, genuine smile to your face? While you're at it, consider whether some hobbies might be intentionally hold you back from fully savoring the experience. Likewise, take a peek at your love life. Are you receiving the kind of love that truly resonates with you? As you uncover what really lightens up your heart, don't just leave it at that. It's time to weave those joys into fabric of your life. Let this full moon guide you toward the greater sense of self-fulfillment and authentic enjoyment. Ask yourself, what makes me feel like a kid in a candy store, and how can I make sure I add more of that into my life? Sagittarius. Sagittarius, get ready, because this upcoming full moon is going to shine its light on the areas of your life that revolve around your home, family, upbringing, and overall security. There's a key question you should be asking yourself during this lunar event. What are the things in my life that generally provide me with a sense of support and comfort? Conversely, what might be causing instability or preventing me from feeling truly secure? It's critical to dig into your own evasive tendencies and acknowledge them head on. You know how Sagittarius tend to be the free spirited adventurer gallivanting through life. Well, it's time to address the flip side too. Sometimes that avoidance mechanism can kick in. This lunar illumination could highlight past wounds or unfulfilled desires, so it's essential to take a step back during this phase and allow yourself to sit with those feelings rather than immediately seek out what's next. Think of it as a moment of self reflection and a chance to truly understand your emotional landscape. It's all about embracing the present and delving, I can't even say the word, delving into sentiments that may have been lingering in the background. Ask yourself, when all the distractions are stripped away, what do I really need to feel good? Capricorn. With this full moon rolling in, it's time to take a closer look at your surroundings. I'm talking about those seemingly mundane aspects of your life, the places you frequently or the places you frequent, the social media you engage with, your modes of communication, and daily interactions in your local environment. But it goes beyond that. Think about your tapping into utilizing your core skills, talents, and attributes. This is your chance to cultivate a deeper sense of gratitude for small things. Straightforward communication might be your key theme during this period. Perhaps you've noticed you've fallen into a monotonous routine and you're yearning for some change. Well, now's the time to act on that feeling. Additionally, consider revisiting learning opportunities to create projects that you started but haven't quite finished. Now, if a particular subject has captured your interest recently, take the plunge and dive deeper into it. Tying up any loose ends. This full moon is about decluttering your mental landscape and better appreciate the beauty in life's little things. Ask yourself, in what ways can I communicate more effectively and be more present in the moment to appreciate everything around me? Aquarius. Aquarius, this upcoming full moon will be lighting up the sector of your material possessions, finances, and all the things that hold meaning and value in your life. It's time to take a breather and ponder over what you own and cherish. Now, I get that the energy of Pisces might feel a bit strange for you as an Aquarius, considering Aquarius tends to lean toward the intellectual side, while Pisces is more of a dreamy and elusive end of the spectrum, but there's something intriguing about this mix. Take a moment to consider the physical stuff around you and how they link to your emotional state. Make sure you're not placing too much importance on specific items that only pile stress onto your plate. Give yourself permission to recognize that sometimes the best answers about what truly makes you feel secure might emerge from your emotions rather than strictly logical standpoint. Let this full moon guide you in finding that balance between your possessions and what brings you inner peace. Ask yourself, what about my possessions and money making satisfies and validates a deeper truth of myself, and what is just a distraction? And PCs or Pisces or however. Hello, Casper. Good to see you, sweetheart. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing better, honey. During the full moon, Pisces, the focus shifts to self-awareness, embracing a fresh perspective of oneself. The current lunar phase offers a great opportunity for you to reflect and release outdated notions of your identity and potential. The energy surrounding this new moon encourages you to step up and take responsibility for how you present yourself to the world. It's all about shedding those old images and perceptions that no longer align with who you become today. Think of it like cleaning out your closet. It's time to toss out those outfits that no longer suit your style. Similarly, you might find that your self-perception differs from how your family sees you, and that's perfectly okay. The key is to confidently assert, this is who I am, and this is how I choose to express myself. This full moon's essence lies in recognizing that you can't continue living in a version of yourself that no longer fits. You've undergone growth and transformation throughout your life, so it's critical to let go of outdated image you once held. This lunar event encourages you to embrace the changes you experienced and embrace the person you've evolved into. Ask yourself, who am I And how do I hold still myself to the standards or ideals I've outgrown? All right, guys. So we just covered all of them. And I have more info on this, but I just figured this was the main one. All right, let's get to the other ones. All right, this information I pulled up. Does the supermoon have a effect on us? This is earthsky.org. All right. That's a beautiful picture. It says, I can't even talk tonight. It says next supermoon is August the 30th to the 31st, 2023. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up so y'all are kind of prepared. The term supermoon denotes a new or full moon that occurs at roughly the same time the moon is nearest the Earth in its monthly orbit. In fact, there are 4 full supermoons in a row in 2023. We're coming up on the third one, the most supermoon of 2023. It'll fall on August the 30th through the 31st. Lighten up the nighttime sky from dusk till dawn. But sometimes people ask, does a supermoon have a super effect on us? Does the supermoon gravity pull us harder? Here's the important question for this discussion. Does the moon gravitational pull vary with its distance? The answer is it sure does. The moon pulls least on Earth when farthest away in its orbit, at apogee or farthest point from the planet, and it pulls most on Earth when closest to us is perigee. But does that increased gravity matter to us as human beings? The answer is no, it doesn't. And here's why. Gravity depends on 2 things. It depends directly on the masses of the 2 objects being gravitationally attached, and it depends inversely on the distance between the 2 objects. So inversely on the distance between, that just means what we said at the top of this section. The moon pulls most strongly on Earth when it's closest to us, and it pulls least strongly when farthest away. But directly on the masses of the 2 objects being gravitationally attracted, the more massive the object, the greater of the pull of gravity. The Earth and Moon are both very massive, so they exert a large gravitational pull on each other. And that's why a closer moon can cause exceptionally large ocean tides. Earth's oceans are very massive too. But are you very massive? No, not compared to Earth's oceans. Consider an average of 176 pound, or 80 kilogram human being. The maximum difference in the person between a close moon and a distant moon is about 73 milligrams, and that's about a 1/14th the mass of an ordinary paperclip. If you factor in the solar gravity effect for the supermoon or the full moon closest to Earth, this effect may raise about 110 milligrams, and that is roughly equivalent to about 1/9 the mass of a paperclip. Rocket Queen, you're a hoot. In either case, the effects are imperceptible and far smaller than those encountered in other everyday situations, for example, such as being near a mountain or even near a large building. You can expect high tides near one if anybody's close to the ocean. This is just kind of giving you guys a heads up. But you might encounter, like I said earlier, that an extra close full moon causes higher than usual perigee tides. The tides are a very different situation for human beings. Tides work through what is called a differential gravitational effect, specifically the force of gravity exerted on the part of Earth opposite the moon. The far side of Earth, as seen from the moon, is slightly less than the force of gravity exerted on the part of Earth directly beneath the moon, the Earth's side and near side, as seen from the moon at any given time. Why? It's because there's an additional distance, about 8,000 miles, from one side of the Earth to the other. The force of gravity weakens rapidly with increasing distance, producing the differential. The Earth is more rigid than the ocean. The result of this differential gravitational effect of the moon is that our planet is stretched slightly along a line between the Earth and the Moon. The body of the Earth is fairly rigid, so it does not stretch much. However, the oceans are much more easily moved. Thus, the effect piles of water on either side of the Earth. And these piles of water created by differential gravitational effect are the tides. Note that on average, the tide effect is quite small. It raises tides only a few feet across a 8,000 miles wide planet Earth. Technically, the same effect acts on your body as well, since one side is farthest from the moon than the other. However, the difference in distance is on the order of 1 foot rather than the thousands of miles. Therefore, the differential is millions of times less, and the effect on the human body infinitesimally small and irrelevant. I can't say some of these words, guys. I am not tech savvy, and I am not like this fancy scientific words. I can't do it. I can't do it. But here's like, I don't, I'm just kind of showing you guys. Peregrine spring tide. A peregrine spring tide occurs when the moon is either new or full or closest to the Earth. New moon closest to the Earth in monthly orbit. Peregrine. Moon in alignment with the sun, moon between the Earth and the sun. So that's the new moon. And this is a full moon. Moon closest to the Earth in monthly orbit. Peregrine. Moon in alignment with the sun. Earth between moon and the sun. Supermoons do get a lot of attention. Supermoons are important because they focus attention on the moon and the sky in general. But the bottom line is that any physical effects on supermoons are not exactly super. There's no reasonable evidence that they're called super disasters. That they cause super disasters. The effects that people make attribute to them are psychological rather than physical. There are several supermoons this year and every year. To learn about supermoons in general, try this Earth Sky post. What is a supermoon? Okay, there's the moon. Look at that's so pretty. Can you notice the difference in the size of the supermoons? So does the change in difference between the moon's farthest and closest point make it appear smaller and bigger? In fact, the full supermoon can appear as much as 14 times larger in the sky and 30% brighter to our eyes than a minimum size and brightness. However, these changes do not come all of a sudden from month to month, but without anything with to compare them with, the changes in the moon size or brightness are hard to qualify by simple observation. To notice the difference, you will need to see an Amphogen smallest full moon and the Peregrine largest full moon side by side. For most of us, it's only possible through photography or through some form of direct measurement, although careful observers have claimed to be able to discern a supermoon's extra large size with the eye. And I guess this is just the difference. This is the supermoon, and then this one is the micromoon. I don't know. Where did the term supermoon originate? As astrologer, not an astronomer, coined the term supermoon, and it has come into wide use recently. It's an example of modern folklore, largely accepted and spread by a now global community via word of mouth and the internet. In astronomy and other sciences, a related term, peregrine tides, refers to the higher tides that can occur when a full new or full moon and the months peregrine coincide, as they frequently do. Simply put, an extra close new or full moon causes higher than usual peregrine tides. And I guess that's the full moon, guys. It's awfully pretty. Bottom line, sure, the moon and the sun create the tides. An extra close moon can create higher than usual tides, but this doesn't mean that the extra close new or full moon, a supermoon, has effect on human beings. In fact, the effects of a supermoon are imperceptible and far smaller than those encountered in other everyday situations, such as being near a mountain or even a large building. Of course, that beautiful bright supermoon will draw your eyes to the sky. All right. All right, I thought this was some useful information too, guys. It says, does the moon affect humans? Y'all always say, I'm gonna stop for just a second. But you always hear the old saying, like on there must be a full moon tonight because people are grumpy or people are hateful or whatever. You know, there's a full moon tonight somewhere because somebody's grumpy. You know what I mean? Or which I don't know. I mean, something about werewolves or whatever. Something about if there's a full moon or if somebody's grumpy, you say, I wonder if there's a full moon or whatever the saying is. So we're getting ready to find out if it truly does affect us as humans, like our emotions and stuff like that. We're getting ready to find out, guys. This is on health.clevelandclinic.org. And this was dated for October the 24th, 2022. Yes, the moon and its lunar cycles can impact you, but for other reasons than you may think. For centuries, the moon and how it affects human behavior has been in the center of mythology and folklore around the world. The very word lunacy dates back to the 15th century when it was believed the moon and its phases could make people become more or less aggressive depending on its place in the lunar cycle. In some cultures, the moon is revered and worshipped for its place among the stars. But then, of course, there are lesser stories that hold a darker tone, haunting tales of werewolves whose transformation is dependent on the full moon. When you set aside superstitions and long-standing myths, is there any scientific truth behind the way the moon bewitches us? Psychologist Susan Albers, PSYD, walks us through some of the research that has been done on lunar cycles and why we may just be changing our behaviors based on independent psychological reasons instead. Can the moon affect your health and behavior? All organisms conduct natural biological cycles for survival. When we talk about biological cycles, we probably most often think of our circadian rhythm, our body's internal 24-hour sleep-wake cycle, and infradian rhythm, cycles that last longer than 24 hours, like the 28-day menstrual cycle or seasonal affective disorder, which is SAD. All of these biological cycles change based on the internal and external factors. And since our human bodies are made up of 55 to about 78% of water, there's some reason to believe we too might be impacted by the moon. Its light and its 27-day lunar cycle, especially when you consider the moon's gravitational pull on the earth, is powerful enough to affect the ocean tides, like we just read about a few minutes ago. Research has shown that several species have adapted some of their biological cycles to line up with the lunar cycle. The reproductive cycle of marine animals like tropical corals during the full moon nights, annelid worms during the waxing moon, and emergency of midges at neap tides is evidence of this lunar connection. A comprehensive overview of research highlights the moon's effects on biological processes across multiple species related to activity levels, feeding rituals, photosensitivity, migration, molting patterns, and more. But what about humans? Any research that has been done has been considered controversial, in part because studies on humans are conflicting, says Dr. Albers. In most cases, when there's been discussion of the moon's effect on humans, it's been anecdotal. Hopefully I'm saying these words right, guys. I have no idea. Ask anyone about how the full moon affects our lives. And you probably heard stories about birth rates climbing, increasing emergency room visits, and an uptick in crime. As this review points out, there seems to be no correlation between the lunar cycle and those things, but nothing happens in a vacuum. Some studies have shown a possible correlation between the moon and the human activity. More research is needed in the following areas. Do moon phases affect mood and mental health? Thank you guys so much for being in here. Please hit that like if y'all haven't done so. Hit the share and hit the subscribe. It means a lot to me. It truly does. Thank you guys so much. It's long believed the moon can have effect on your mood. It's certainly true that environmental factors can play a part in person's mood swings and act as a trigger for anxiety and depression, but it's unclear exactly how, if at all, the lunar cycle affects our mood and mental health. More research needs to be done, but what do we know is that the moon may have an impact on people with bipolar disorders. In a small study of 17 people, researchers learned that their patients cycled rapidly between states of depression and mania, and these rapid cycles weren't random, but instead in sync with the lunar cycle. Through the exact mechanism that causes this is unknown. It's believed that those quick changes in mood were caused by disruption to their circadian rhythm and their sleep-wake cycle. Does the moon affect our ability to sleep? Our ability to regulate our emotions is dependent on our body's ability to release and suppress certain hormones at certain times. In some ways, you can think of hormones like switches. When one is turned on, others might flip off. Certain hormones are higher during the day when we are awake, while others are higher in the evening when we are asleep. Thank you, Sean. Melatonin is one of those hormones that is naturally released at night to calm your body down and prepare your body for sleep. When melatonin levels rise, serotonin, a feel good hormone that plays a role in controlling our mood and appetite, decreases. And if you introduce things like artificial light and say bright light from a full moon, it may have an impact on your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep because we know artificial light impacts our sleep wake cycle. One reason why studying the link between our lunar cycle and our ability to sleep is difficult is because studies are in constant contradiction with each other. Many sleep studies are held in tightly controlled, well-lit laboratory settings, making some researchers question the accuracy of the results. Many researchers wonder if a person's implicit bias about the moon's effect on their lives may even skew some results. For a 2013 study, research found a way around these nuisances by revisiting data from an older study in which participants were not aware they could be evaluated for lunar influences. In that study, researchers discovered that around the full moon, people spent about 30% less time in NREM sleep, deep sleep, and slept for 20 minutes less than they were than when there wasn't a full moon. These changes were also associated with decreased levels of melatonin. Another study for 2021 compared the sleep patterns of 3 rural indigenous communities in Argentina to the sleep patterns of college students in Seattle. In all situations, regardless of geography or access to electricity, participants slept less and went to bed later in the days leading up to a full moon when there was more natural light available after dusk. Researchers hypothesized this is continued evidence that we have an innate adaptation from our ancestors who likely slept less and conducted more work and other activities whenever there was more natural light available. Does the moon impact human reproduction? Research into the reproductive cycles of fish and other marine animals have shown that some fish migrate and spawn according to the lunar cycle, and that some species increase their activity during a full moon when the moonlight is the brightest, but such measurements are not quite as clear when it comes to humans. While we know there are many internal and external factors that can have an impact on human ovulation, pregnancy, and delivery, more researchers need to be done to determine the exact effect on the lunar cycle may have on birth rates because studies are, you guessed it, conflicting. Says an examination of 1,507 births at a hospital in fuck you to sue you, fuck you to sue. Hopefully I'm saying this right. I don't mean to cuss, but just the way it shows, I don't know. Japan. Between 1996 and March of 2007 revealed there were a higher number of births at night around the time of the full moon and a higher number of births during the day around the time of the new moon. But a separate study of 23,689 births from 1810 to 1929 revealed no pattern or correlation between the lunar cycle and frequent of births. If you believe something will happen, it might come true. Regardless of contradiction and the lack of evidence supporting the exact mechanism behind the moon's effect on humans, there's no doubt that beliefs are long-standing that there exists a link between the two. This may be in part because we hold so tightly to that belief. And in many cases, if you believe something to be true, it is true, even if it's on our own determinant. The power of belief looms large in folklore, mythology, and religion. And scientifically, the power of belief has been shown to have a direct impact on our physical, mental, and emotional health. Researchers are still trying to understand why and how this happens. Here are a few common examples. Let's see, illusory correlation. We often put two and two together, even when we know they have nothing in common, and the subconscious way of thinking is called an illusionary correlation. Most often, we choose to assume something is in a certain way based on our own personal experiences and biases. We then mistake our own personal experiences as all the evidence we need. We see this play out when we uphold stereotypes of certain people and places or subscribe to superstitions and belief around luck. In the same way, we can even hinge our own personal experiences on something as simple as the moon, says Dr. Albers. The placebo effect, which I know you guys have heard about the placebo effect before, like in, the wars and stuff like that. They did, doctors did a lot of the placebo, like giving medication or something like that and called it placebo. Closely related to theory, but different from illusionary correlation, the placebo effect occurs when a person's physical or mental health improves or changes after taking a false form of treatment. We see this most often in clinical trials when someone receives sugar pills or saline and water injections and they experience improvement in their condition, even though they didn't receive an actual treatment. This likely happens because your brain's ability to expect a certain outcome and release certain hormones based on that expectation. The placebo effect is fascinating because it can have a profound and powerful effect on behavior. Dr. Albers says Dr. Albers. Studies on placebo effect indicate that what you think or believe to be true can have a dramatic impact on the outcome, and it shouldn't be ignored when examining cause and effect. Hello, True Seeker. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well, honey. Self-fulfilling prophecies. If you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and think today is going to be a bad day, chances are you'll have a bad day, but not because you're doomed or cursed, because you're setting yourself up for failure. These self-fulfilling prophecies happen because you tend to be hyper-focused on one outcome or one certainty and avoidant of others. If you're only focused on the negative things will far outweigh the positive, and vice versa. When this happens, everything from your emotions, mood, and mental health to your body's physical responses and reactions could be impacted. A better example is that if you were told enough times that your treatment will be effective in helping your chronic condition and you believe in it enough, your actions like following through on the treatment, eating better, and being more active will help make the outcome a reality. If you think a full moon will trigger you to be more irritable, it's likely you will expect to be more on the edge and act accordingly, says Dr. Albers. You might say to yourself, it's a full moon, of course I'm going to have a rough day. And you will likely give yourself more liberty to act out. Essentially, your thoughts impact your actions. Yeah, you might as well. Exactly, Sean. The power of daily affirmations and negative self-talk. The same is true for daily affirmations and negative self-talk. If you're in conscious rut, perpetuating negative self-talk will dig you in a deeper hole. Being kind to yourself, being patient, and find small ways to improve your condition and how you respond to things can have a huge impact. And relying on meditative practices that include positive thinking can have a really powerful effect too. This may be true when you hang up your hopes on the moon. Time and time again, studies have shown that the power of your thoughts to impact your behavior is profound. This is why it's important to work daily on maintaining a positive mindset and keep your thoughts optimistic and upbeat, says Dr. Albers. Be mindful of where you want your thoughts to lead you. The quality of your thoughts can be a game changer because they can determine your actions and habits in the long run. And it opened. Well, that's what it says, Rocket Queen. I don't know. I'm just going by what it's telling us. I'm learning too with you guys. I just thought this was pretty interesting to talk about, considering the moon's coming up the 30th and 31st of August, which y'all will hit that day before us in the United States will hit that day. So let's see. Let's see where I'm at. Sorry, guys. All right, and this one is the last one, and it says, "How does a full moon affect our physical and mental well-being?" Which I think this is very important to know. It's useful information to know, guys. It says, "How does a full moon affect our physical and mental well-being?" This is from healthline.com/full moon effects. It says there are many common beliefs about how the full moon can influence everything from sleep quality to mental health and heart health. However, only a few of these have been proven in studies. In Shakespeare's Othello, the maid Emilia tells Othello that the moon has drawn too close to the earth and driven men insane. The idea that the full moon can stir up emotions, provoke bizarre behavior, and can even cause physical illness isn't just a literacy trope. It's a strong held belief even today. In fact, one study says like nearly 81% of mental health professionals believe the full moon can make people ill. 81%, guys. That's quite a bit. As powerful as the ancient belief appears to be, there's little science to back up the theory that a full moon causes a swift uptick in emergency room visits or mental health unit admissions. Here's what researchers have found about the moon effects on human bodies and behavior. Hello, the Morgan. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. I hope I said your name correctly. The full moon effect. For centuries, physicians and philosophers blamed behavior changes on the pull of the moon. The word lunatic, after all, stemmed from the idea that changes in mental state were related to lunar cycles. The connection between the two is even supported in historic legal test treaties. For instance, famed British jurist William Blackstone wrote that people gained and lost their ability to reason according to the moon's shifting phases. You're welcome. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being in here. The lunar effect is based on the belief that health and behavior are altering during specific stages of the lunar cycle, with some claiming that it can have effect everything from reproductive health to sleep quality and beyond. Sources of superstition. The idea that the moon impacts certain aspects of physical and mental health can be traced back to ancient Greece and Rome, as is well documented in the writings of classical authors like Aristotle and Lucilius. I'm hoping that I'm saying these names correctly. I apologize if I'm not, guys. During the 1970s, psychiatrist Arnold Lindbergh theorized that the moon influenced the body's the biological tides and altered human behavior, leading to increased rates of violence and homicide. While many of these theories have been debunked, the possibility that humans could be affected by the moon's cycles isn't entirely groundless. The ocean's tides rise and fall in time with the moon's phases, and several marine species, including reef coral, sea-dwelling worms, and some fish, have reproductive cycles that are roughly timed to lunar cycles. Still, not many studies link the moon to human behavior and health conditions. Here's what researchers can tell us about the connections that do exist between people and the full moon. Full moon and your sleep. When the full moon is bright, it may affect your quality of sleep, may affect sleep latency. Interesting, one 2021 study found that people fell asleep later and slept less overall on the nights before the full moon. Other research suggests that the full moon may be associated with less deep sleep and increased REM, rapid eye movement, latency. Hopefully, I'm saying that word correctly. Well, I'm doing okay, Truth Seeker. I hope you're doing okay. I hope your daddy's doing okay, honey. Sleep latency is a period between when you first fall asleep and when you enter the first stage of REM sleep. So increased latency means it takes longer time to get to REM sleep. Other causes of REM sleep latency can include sleep apnea, alcohol use, some medications. The deepest sleep occurs just before REM sleep begins. May affect males and females differently. A 2015 study of 205 people found that the full moon may affect sleep differently in males and females. Many females sleep less and have less REM sleep when the full moon phase is near, whereas males have more REM sleep close to a full moon. Well, howdy, hippie grandma. How you doing, darling? In 2016, a group of researchers examined the sleep cycles of children in 12 countries. They found that the children slept 1% less during the full moon phase. However, they didn't find any association between this change in sleep and significant differences in behavior during that period. However, through many studies point to association between sleep and lunar cycles, not all of them do. A 2015 study involving 2,125 people found no link between the full moon and changes in sleep patterns. Full moon, mood, and mental health. The human body has adapted, I can't even talk, to eons of exposure to daylight and darkness. This has led to the development of circadian rhythms that affect many of your body's symptoms, not just the sleep wake cycle. Circadian rhythms affect your physical and mental health too. But the widespread use of electric light means many of your circadian rhythms are adapting to new light and dark patterns. When circadian rhythms wobble, it can cause or increase symptoms of certain mental health disorders, including anxiety, bipolar depression, and schizophrenia. Says that the full moon still have the power to disrupt your circadian rhythm. It brightens the sky by a lowly 0.1 to 0.3 lux compared to a single street light, which is 15 lux, or a cell phone screen, which is 40 lux. So our moon's really associated with these changes in mood and mental health. The prevailing scientific evidence says no. Researchers in a 2017 study analyzed emergency room records at a 140-bed hospital and found that the people visiting the ER because of a psychiatric condition in roughly equal numbers during all 4 phases of the moon. A 2019 review of nearly 18,000 medical records from different facilities found the same thing: no relationship between the lunar cycles and the length of hospital stays or the number of inpatient admissions or discharge at psychiatric facilities. Says those with bipolar disorder may be affected. One marked exception to this general conclusion does exist. Researchers have found that those with bipolar disorder may be affected by changes in the lunar cycle. Specifically, a 2008 study examined 17 people whose bipolar disorder tended to switch rapidly from depression to mania. The study showed that circadian pacemaker, a small group of nerves in these individuals, became synchronized with lunar patterns. This caused changes in their sleep and then triggered a shift from depression symptoms to mania symptoms. In a 2019 case study, a woman with bipolar 2 disorder, research suggests that this mood connection can be treated by changing some medication, especially thyroid medication and antidepressants, and using light therapy. Full moon in your cardiovascular system. As the moon comes closer to Earth, its gravitational pull changes, and the Earth's large bodies of water respond to higher tides. Scientists have wondered whether the changing gravitational pull might also affect how fluids react inside your body. Here's what they found, since they said we are made of such and such amount of water. May affect blood pressure. If you don't suffer with high blood pressure, you might suffer with it that day. Or if you have high blood pressure, your blood pressure might go low. That's just my opinion. I haven't read it yet. I'm just saying. In a 2003 study on the male university students, researchers measured the effects of changing lunar cycles on participants' cardiovascular systems. They found that blood pressure dropped by 5 mm's Hg during the new moon and the full moon phases. So it drops. It doesn't raise, it drops. The students also took a step test. The heart rate and blood pressure were both lowering during the full and new moons. Plus, their heart rates returned to normal levels more quickly during the full and new moons. In this study, researchers concluded that humans were more physically efficient during full and new moons. However, this finding conflicts somewhat with other researchers, including a 2020 study on male athletes that found no significant difference in athletic performance during different lunar phases. Another study in people with type 2 diabetes found that lunar cycles did not influence blood pressure, but did impact other related functions, including blood sugar levels and heart rate. Full moon violence, aggression, trauma, and unalive. For decades, possibly even centuries, people have persisted in believing that there are more assaults, traumas, and unalives during full moon periods. Numerous researchers have tackled these questions. They reviewed records, conducted their own studies, and came to this conclusion. A full moon doesn't cause an increase in these human behaviors. In fact, one study found that during a full moon, incidence of a homicide dropped slightly. Similarly, another study showed that there was no significant difference in emissions at a trauma center during a full moon. The moon and menstrual cycles. The moon takes roughly a month to orbit the Earth. Since many menstrual cycles are at the same length, people have made a connection between the moon and its effects on menstrual periods, but they're not actually synchronized. A 2021 study confirms this. In this study, researchers followed 529 females through 6 menstrual cycles, and they found no association between lunar phases and the onset of menstrual cycles. On the subject of human reproductive cycles, it may also comfort you to know that a full moon isn't going to send you into sudden delivery if you're pregnant either. Incorrect conclusions. An illusory correlation is a type of thinking error. It happens when you draw the wrong conclusion because you haven't taken into account all the data, just some of it. For example, if you visit a new city and have a few unpleasant encounters with locals, you might come away thinking that everyone from that city is rude. And coming to that conclusion, you'd be overlooking many positive and neutral interactions you had and focusing only on the negative ones. Similarly, people may have noticed a behavior episode or a traumatic incident and chalked it up to the full moon because they heard myths about the association between the two. Key takeaways. Because the moon cycles are known to influence natural phenomena like the tides, some cultures have developed a persistent but mostly incorrect belief that lunar phases also influence human emotions, behaviors, and health. For the most part, a full moon doesn't cause people to become more aggressive, violent, anxious, or depressed. There does seem to be a link between the phases of the moon and the changes in the symptoms of bipolar disorder. There's also some evidence that a full moon can lead to less deep sleep and a delay in entering into REM sleep. In addition, some studies have shown a slight change in cardiovascular conditions during a full moon. Scientists continue to study how the moon influences various psychological, psychological, and sociological. Hopefully, I'm saying this right, guys. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. Systems for now, though it appears the effect on this heavenly body on your body is less powerful than once believed. Let's see if that's oh, hang on it. I think that's it, guys. That's all the information that I have. Hopefully that was very informational for you guys, or informative. I'll get it right here in a minute. Informative. I just think it's very interesting. I think it's really cool. It's pretty interesting how the moon has such an effect on people, you know. And it just brings a little bit of awareness and support and mental health. We was talking about mental health and stuff like that. So I just think it's really interesting. Hold on a minute, guys. I just think it's really interesting how, it affects us. I think it's really cool. Well, you're welcome, Rocket Queen, honey. Rocket Queen, I sent you something, honey. Yeah, I just think it's so cool how the moon can have such an impact. It's unbelievable. It truly is. It truly is. Oh, thank you so much, Sean. It means a lot. It truly does. I just thought it was something different to go over. Plus, it still covers what we go over here, positivity, mental health, awareness, support. And why not talk about something a little bit different, but it still covers everything we talk about in here? We got support, awareness, mental health, positivity, inspirational and encouragement and motivation. Like it all, I just think, even though it's not something we typically talk about, I just think it was really interesting to bring it to attention, so that way, because a lot of people don't really pay attention to the moon, and they just like, okay, whatever, but I do too. Rocket Queen, honey. But a lot of people think okay, well, it's the moon, whatever, you know what I mean? But I honestly think too that the moon affects, that's just my opinion, the moon affects our feelings. We get agitated or whatever. We are the celebrity we are talking about next week is Miss Beautiful Betty White. Talking about her on Sunday. And y'all wouldn't believe I already got the live set up. So y'all wouldn't believe I had a, let me go back on, um, let me go back on live. I know you are Rocket Queen. I know you are during them. But I just think it's really interesting. It's really interesting. So I mean we covered a lot of information, covered a lot of like scientific about the moon, and then we covered astrology, we covered zodiac signs, we covered, if how it pertains to, like different cycles of your body, sleep cycles, like I said, I'm not a doctor. I just thought it was really interesting information. Really interesting. Really interesting information. Still don't have any crystals, Rocker. I can't even talk. I still don't have no crystals. I don't have any. I need some white ones. I think white ones are good. Yes, Miss Beautiful Betty White is who we're talking about. And Lord have mercy, she was a movie star, a very famous lady for a long, long time. And she's hilarious. Oh my goodness. She's so funny. But y'all should have seen me trying to find a picture, like a pretty cool picture, and find every picture that I found for my thumbnail, cut her face off, or it was too skinny, or it didn't fit, or if it wasn't big enough. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had to find a picture for her. And I finally found one, and she's doing this. I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome. Okay, I'm picking that one. Because she had so many pictures. But y'all got to realize she was a movie star for a long time. Well, you might need to do that, Rocket Queen, between the 30th and the 31st, darling. 31st. It says, I don't know if it would be the same time around y'all's, but it says August the 30th to August the 31st. So just kind of keep your eyeballs peeled around that time frame, because I know y'all are basically a day ahead of us. So keep your eyeballs peeled around that time frame. You might have to go out there and do a moon dance. Woo woo. And hopefully it's not too cold. Hopefully it's not too cold for you, Rocket Queen. Yes, I love Betty White. She was awesome. She was hilarious too. I first started watching Betty White in the Golden Girls, and she was Rose, and I loved her. She was so funny. No, I had Kurt Cobain on there Tuesday, but nobody, like, I put up 4 names. So whichever one, I mean, I left it on the whole entire live. And whoever had the most votes is who we decide. So Kurt Cobain is still on my list. And we will eventually cover everybody. I just want to give you, I mean, y'all give me the names. I write them down, and then I give you guys a chance. So I'm not picking, give you guys a chance to be involved. So y'all pick who y'all want to hear, and whoever has the highest votes, after the poll, and I give y'all enough time to vote, at least an hour to vote. We'll say that. And then we pick, and then I mark them down on my notebook that we've already went over them, and we'll eventually cover everybody. So Kurt Cobain is still on the list. My wife and I know a lot about him. He was one of my favorite rock stars. We met him one time and had about a 20 or 30-minute conversation with him. Super cool. Well, see, that's awesome. So if we ever talk, I mean, once we do, I mean, if you have any pictures, if anybody has any pictures of any of these people we talk about, or any information you want to send to me, put on my face, or send it to me in a private message, or send it to my email. And I'll always, if it's okay, I can, incorporate in the live. That way, it's showing more of a personal experience. If you've met any of these people or whatever, it also, it shows, like, look how good this person is. Or they wasn't, like I've never met anybody famous, not that I know of, except for, not massively famous, like starting out like those musicians at the VFW. But actually meeting anybody famous, I have not. But like, if you met anybody famous, like taking a picture with them and then telling a little bit of the story, if you knew, would be awesome. Would be awesome, because you could tell, because you can sense people. You can sense if they're good or bad people. So like you could tell us, you could tell us how these people were, how you felt that they were. You know what I mean? I think it's really cool if anybody had any pictures of anybody we talk about. If anybody want it, and y'all are more than welcome to tell me more names and I can write them down. Or also, I don't know if there's any organizations out there that's been made a huge impact in people's lives that I can find information on. I do not have any organizations written down. So if y'all know any organizations, um, they don't necessarily have to be famous. I'm just saying somebody that's made a huge impact in a lot of people's life, a positive impact, and maybe still doing a positive impact. We could talk about them. It don't necessarily have to be a famous movie star or a singer or somebody like that. It can be, I just want to be able to make sure that, their story is still talked about if they're no longer with us. Keep their story going. Keep their examples going, keep their inspiration going, their encouragement, their positive. Keep it rolling and letting their story be heard. If it's an individual or if it's like an organization, I don't know if there's any out there, but I'm just saying any organizations that's made a positive change in people's life, they might not still be an organization, but there might be some info about it. Amnesty. What's amnesty? I don't know what amnesty. I can't even say that word. And Digger Deck said, ACDC, woo woo. I don't know what I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Of amnesty. INXS. I don't know. You got me confused. I know. I'm curious. What is amnesty? If I'm saying it correctly, I'm probably not saying it correctly, but I'm curious. Oh, okay, cool. Well, I have some people down that sort of kind of like that in a way. Like I have Anne Frank down. She was in um the Holocaust. So even though she wasn't famous, she's still famous for what she did. I think that's awesome. And then I have Miss Rosa Parks down. I have Martin Luther King Jr. down because he made a huge impact on a lot of people's lives. Let's see. I've got um y'all gave me these names, and then I got down Walt Disney because Lord, he I think he passed away, but he did a lot of inspiring. I can't even talk. Inspiring things. I've just got we got Ellen DeGeneres. I love her. She's awesome. But she does a lot of things for a lot of people. You know. Yes, we know Lita Ford. I might need to write her name down since we do know like Miss Beautiful Lita Ford. Hello, mermaid. I wrote down Lita Ford so that way if we ever get her voted on, and maybe she'll come in here and tell us some. That would be awesome. Mhm. That would be so cool. And if they have mental health or suffered with addiction or anything like that, and y'all don't know, I always do a research to see if by chance they did and y'all didn't know. And if they do, then I always pull that information in as well. So it's still support and awareness and part of their life. You know, there's so much information about these wonderful people that I go like I spend hours going through hours and sometimes days going through to find the best information, because a lot of these people have so much information out there, so much. So I only pick like 3 or 4 websites and go by there, when there could be, I mean, there's so much more, but we just want to keep their story alive. If they're no longer with us, or even if they are with us, keep their story alive, you know. Digger Deck says I talked to Lisa Ford. Lita Ford or Lisa Ford. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah, I'm not going to stay on here too much longer, guys, because is that still going on over there, guys, or do y'all know? Lida. Miss Beautiful Lida. I knew what you meant, Digger Duck. I got to give you a hard time, honey. I knew what you meant. Undercover Mermaid, I don't think that you was in here last night when we did the voting. Because I put Rick Springfield back down. I told you that I would. But Miss Betty White got it. Miss Betty White did. Lita is your best friend. Oh, it's okay, honey. It's all right, Digger Duck. You're good. I do that junk all the time. And then talk to text. I cannot do that junk at all. I try to do the talks to text, and where I'm so southern, it does not. My phone don't like me. So I'm like, forget it. I'll just do a voice text, or I'll call, or I'll just pull over the side of the road or whatever and type it. Oh yes, Betty. She has great stories. And her quotes, oh my gosh. Some of them have you rolling. They are so funny. Some of them are good. He will. He will. He's still like I was telling Sean, they was talking about Kurt Cobain. Hey, we're going to go over all these people. So eventually we'll get to the ones y'all definitely want to find out about. We'll eventually get there, guys. We'll eventually get there. So don't worry. Trust me, they will be talked about eventually. Eventually. Because I know Mermaid or Amy, she's got stuff saved for me. So when he does get it not voted on, Lord have mercy. When he does get voted for the Sundays lives. Oh my goodness gracious. I did get me some rest last night, but when you suffer with a lot of mental health, it's draining. It'll be all right. You just got to be positive and try to just do your very best that you can. You can't let it get you in a slump, because it gets you in a slump, then it wins. You got to try to fight. You got to try to just keep on pushing forward. you know. And that's my good advice for you guys. If you're in a slump, just, just keep on pushing forward. Don't go backwards. Keep on pushing forward, guys. You like soap stars, Maurice Bernard, Sonny from GH, and his own YouTube channel, State of Mind, about his bipolar, and he interviews other stars. Cool. Cool. Yeah, when I started this channel, almost a year, guys, can y'all believe it's almost in a year? In November will be a year. Wow. Anyway, Lord, we've been through so much in a year. Lord have mercy. Almost, well, here in a couple months, it'll be a year, but we've been through so much in this time frame. Good Lord have mercy. So much. So much information. That we just got to keep on pushing forward, you know. And unfortunately, things happen that's beyond our control, unfortunately, and we just got to keep on pushing forward and try our very best not to let it bother us. But that's easier said than done, but we just have to try our best to stay positive and try to stay strong, you know. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff going on. Yes, lots of laughter and lots of tears. Absolutely, Rocket Queen, honey. Absolutely, my love. Absolutely. True family. Absolutely, honey. Now, Rebel did tell me to tell you guys he is going live tomorrow. I have no idea what he's covering, no clue. But I'm just putting a little birdie in y'all's ears to let you guys know that he said he is going live tomorrow. Just letting you guys know. So hopefully he has a good turnout and sees all you amazing, beautiful people over there. It'll lift him up. Hey, we got to lift each other up. We got to be there for one another. We got to support one another. So, are you excited, Rocket Queen? Oh, does he have it already set up? See, I've been on live, so I don't know. Do y'all know if that's still going on over there? Like I said, I'm live, so I have no idea what's going on. Yes, thank you guys so much for coming in here. It truly means a lot to me. And hopefully, once I get up the money, I'll have my border and all that stuff back. It's just, unfortunately, things happen. That's beyond our control. So, you know. And Rocket Queen, here, I'm going to put this up here. Rocket Queen said, don't forget your request for Friday, WTF on fire request at gmail.com. Make sure you put them in Thursday night before midnight, Thursday night. And what the request is for is for Friday night. It is for your favorite hairband. Favorite hairband. So Rebel said it could be 70s, 80s, whatever. Favorite hairband. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, guys. It's going to be interesting. Well, hopefully everything went well on the island. I always try to, I always try to send good vibes to everybody. So hopefully everything went okay, But I love each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming in here. Make sure y'all hit that like if y'all haven't done so already. And I know there's going to be a lot of people watching the replay, which is fine. That's fine. I appreciate the watching the replays too. It means a lot. If y'all watch the replay, please, if you can, leave me a comment and hit the like and just let me know, what you think of what I went over or whatever, because I reply to every comment, everyone. I reply to everyone. So please, if y'all are watching the replay, please leave me a comment and make sure you hit the like. I love you, Digger Duck Honey. I love you. I love you all. It truly means a lot to me. The support and the love that you guys give me. It truly does. I couldn't do what I do without you. Wonderful, beautiful, amazing people. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is our open panel on positivity and good vibes. So hopefully I will see you guys there tomorrow or here or whatever. You're not being annoying. I love it. Don't bother me at all. I'm not like these other creators, which I'm still a little. We're still little people in a big old bowl of fish. Big old YouTube fish bowl, and YouTube is humongous, got billions and billions of people. It's huge. So, like, I enjoy it. I enjoy the replies. I enjoy the comments. I like that. And I reply to every single one. So please, if you're watching the replay, please hit the like. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe, hit the share, and please leave a comment. I really, really like, I love reading the comments. You're not being annoying, Rockets. You can leave me a comment anytime you want to. Even if you're in the live, you can still leave me a comment if you want to. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm just saying, it doesn't bother me at all. I'm not one of these type of creators or whatever you call me. I'm just me. I want to I want to interact with you guys. I don't want to. Okay, well, there's somebody left a comment and it takes the creator like a year to message them. I don't. That's just not me. And some people don't even message them back or leave a comment back or like it or heart it or whatever. No, I reply to all of them. If I possibly can, if my phone alerts me and lets me know, because my phone acts a little crazy sometimes, but I really like it. So if you guys are watching the replay, please hit the like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Even if you say hey or put a dot, I'll put a dot back or whatever. Just it means a lot. It really does. It's support. It's support, guys. So, I'm no better than nobody. I'm just me, So y'all just leave comments all you want to, because I love it. I love it. I truly do. It warms my heart. And I know it warms y'all's heart when y'all get a comment back. So, that's what it's all about. Lifting each other up. So please, I enjoy it. But I love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful night. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Like I said, it's open panel on positivity, good vibes, and Ghost Devil made me a new thumbnail, which is epic. Epic. Thank you, Ghost Devil. So if y'all haven't seen it, it's amazing. It's amazing for the one tomorrow, for the open panel. It is awesome. Yes, it's awesome. Thank you, Ghost. Thank you, brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. Yes, it's awesome. But I love you guys, and thank you guys so much for coming in here. It truly means so much to me. It truly does. But virtual hugs sent to you guys, and I love you all. Okay. Now I always say, yes, give him a hug. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. It's awesome. It really is, guys. What y'all seeing? Y'all gonna be like, wow. It's awesome, guys. It's so cool. Anyway, before I jump off here, I always say this. I know I sound like a broken record, but what I say is the truth, and it's very meaningful. So you don't know what people are going through, so be kind always. Always be kind. You don't know what they've been through in their life. You don't know what they're currently going through. So just be kind to one another. Lift each other up. Be there for one another. Support one another. Be a positive influence in somebody's life. Be a difference in this evil world we live in. And also, be careful with your words because they might possibly be forgiven, possibly, but not forgotten. So y'all have a wonderful night. I love you guys so much, and y'all have a good one. And I will see you guys tomorrow. And like I said, Rebel's going live tomorrow. I'm not really for sure on the time, but y'all go over there and give him some love too, and lift his spirits. Okay, love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful. I'm scared to be on here. You ain't got to be scared. I love you guys. See ya. Peace, guys. Love ya.